Enjoy all episodes of the RCWR show on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio.
Warning, the RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., as featured on Wrestling8.com and TNA Insider, Lee Sanders and Titus Machiavelli.
All right, so Titus, looks like we got the WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view coming up at the Wells Fargo Center in good old Philly this Sunday for you boys and girls out there that might be close to the area. If you are going to stop on by there, let us know throughout social media. Show you some love when we go on the air for our Royal Rumble post show. We'll give you the details on that in a little bit. Of course, if you aren't going to be able to see that, you have the next best thing, which is checking it out on something called, I think, Titus, the WWE Network.
The WWE Network, which you can get either with InfinityOneProductions.com or TitusRadioshow.com. The same WWE Network for the low, low price of, how much, Lee?
I keep forgetting. I think it's like $9.99 or something.
$9.99 is what I'm saying. So, yeah, you can sign up for that network right through us, help support our programming. That's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, this is being presented by two people, or sponsored by two people, Hulu and the new app game WWE Immortals. I played that. It was a so-so game. Did you check that out yet?
I have been playing it here and there. It's a lot like the DC DC game, the Injustice game. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a fun game and all. It's your typical sort of social media sort of game type thing. Yeah.
It doesn't quite. For me, it doesn't quite give me that DC fix, but I tell you what, it's a damn good app game. It's a damn good app game. If y'all haven't checked it out yet, go check it out. So this event that's coming up with the Royal Rumble, this will mark the 28th annual Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and it is the very first Royal Rumble that's going to be airing on the network. And, you know, we could sit here all night and we could reminisce about some of the greatest Royal Rumble moments in history. I mean, for me, nothing really tops Stone Cold Steve Austin being the one and only guy to win the Royal Rumble 3 times back to back to back. You know, I mean, we could sit here all night and talk about some of our greatest memories, but that's not what this is about. This is pretty much about...
That's a whole different show.
That's a whole different show. That's right. This is about another installment of our Call That Match edition, where we give our analysis, our thoughts on how we would like for, in this case, the Royal Rumble pay-per-view to go down if we were booking it. So let's jump right into it. All the matches that stand as of right now, we are talking about on Wednesday, January 21st. Card is subject to change, but the way it's looking right now, this is possibly your final card going into Sunday's pay-per-view. Let's begin with the pre-show, which sees the New Day stable, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, taking on the newly formed team of Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, and Adam Rose. It's a 6-man tag team elimination match, or as I like to think of it, a match I honestly don't give a damn about. So, Titus, I pass it along to you.
Well, you know, everything that I'm going to be saying here on our show, I will also have out later on about this on my website, evilgeniustitus.com. I feel the same way in some ways. I don't have much to say on it. The build has been bad. It's been a short build to this. It was kind of one of those, let's do this match this way. Let's do that. However, the teaming up of Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, that's interesting to me. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with them. I'm not sure, you know, what the future looks like, but that's an interesting pairing. the throwing in of Adam Rose. The only thing I like about Adam Rose is Fluffy Bunny from that SmackDown commercial he did. I could give a crap about Adam Rose at this point. But that's an interesting pairing of Kid and Cesaro, and of course the New Day. They have no direction. I don't know where they're going. I don't know what the plan will be, shall be. In the end, I do think that the New Day is going to win this matchup. I think they're going to, I think Adam Rose is probably going to do something to continue this downward spiral that he is going through with his heel turn that he has taken. So I think the New Day walks away with this match.
I will jump out there in all honesty. I know I said to you guys I don't give a damn about this match. I don't. But if I had to book this match, I would like to see the stable of Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, and Rose go over for the simple fact we've been getting the New Day stable shoved down our throats for the past couple of weeks. And I mean, for those of you that watch WWE Raw, you can basically, I really would like to hear from you guys on this one. So hit us up throughout social media, as if you really think about it, and in particular you think back to what went down on that MLK edition of Raw. I mean, I was expecting for the New Day stable to come out. I said, it's MLK, you got to cue them up. Sure enough, they came out and they tried so hard to get the crowd to be behind them, but the crowd really was just not there for them. I don't know what it is with WWE. They see something in this union with these guys together, and they're trying to make it work. If you're going to make it work, I say you let the New Day stable continue to chase Kid, Cesaro, Rose. This is a good opportunity to build upon something good, a good rivalry if you do it right. You got a great cast of guys right here. So I'd like to see Kid, Cesaro, and Rose go over as well. Maybe that can begin a short program going into their next pay-per-view. I think it's Fastlane before WrestleMania.
So I think the question that we need to set some rules, because should we be talking about what we think is going to be happening, or should we talk about what we would do, or both?
Both.
Well, I would agree with you that I'd love to see Tyson Kidd and Cesaro go over, build something up with these two. Very interested in the dynamic they have. I just don't see the WWE doing that. I think they're going to put the New Day over. They're trying to push them out there, even though fans are rejecting the whole notion of positivity. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're getting from them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That positivity, if you keep hammering at it, it's eventually going to turn from positive to negative. Read between those lines right there. We've been talking about that stable going heel. I don't know. This might be some good seeds planted if they do it right. Man, there's a thought right there. What if the ultimate payoff is to have the New Day stable aligned with Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, and Rose? That would be interesting.
Well, I don't think that you would do something like that on the pre-show, considering.
No.
You know, but I don't think what I had in my head what the New Day was going to be much more of a the Nation of Domination. We don't need no stinking help. We it just the anti-establishment sort of thought, but who knows what's going. It ain't going nowhere right now.
Yeah, it ain't going there. Yeah.
I think that's really. I think there was a plan. It felt like that was a plan. I think that they made a change based upon recent tensions. With Ferguson and all those things. I don't get too deep in it, but I think that might be part of what might have changed what was going on, because as much as WWE likes to have controversy, that's really probably pushing their luck.
Yeah. And dear God, the last thing you want to do is put R-Truth with them, because he would shine. We don't want that.
Oh my God, I don't know what R-Truth. Because he's not. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Let's talk about the next match. We got the New Age Outlaws. Very happy to see these guys again. Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. They're taking on the Ascension's Connor and Victor in a tag team match. So, right before this match was announced on Raw this week, that whole beatdown that they took at the hands of the New Age Outlaws, the NWO, who else was in there?
That would be the
APA. All of them got some of the Ascension. I thought that was their Bon Voyage trip back to NXT. Then about 2-3 segments later, we hear, the Ascension, they're going to be taking on the New Age Outlaws. First thing I'm saying to myself, there is something that WWE is trying to build possibly with this. And it's very important that I mention this because I don't think they're doing this just for the hell of it. I think possibly a couple of former WWE tag teams may be getting ready to come back to the WWE. That's the only thing that kind of makes sense to me, because you just think back to the Ascension's promos up to now. They've been bashing tag teams of yesteryear. And here we see them in a match where they're finally not going to be taking on created wrestlers from a video game like they've been doing the past couple of weeks. Now, if you're really paying attention, one of the very first matches they had, matter of fact, their Raw debut match was against Mizdow, which they won. Now they're taking on the New Age Outlaws, and I know some people may feel as though, oh man, WWE's dusting off the dinosaurs. I said this Monday night, I gotta stress it again. New Age Outlaws, they still got it. If you all did not watch the last go round that they were on the roster, they were basically feuding with the Usos. And Titus, I don't know about you, but I actually enjoyed that feud a lot. It was great to see the Outlaws still had it. For this particular match, I'm looking for the Ascension to get their thunder back from the embarrassment segment they had on Raw this week. For the simple fact, I think WWE is building towards something that might culminate in WrestleMania. I've been talking about it with friends, and the more and more I talk about it with them, I think they're on to something. I believe that possibly Team 3D may be coming back, if not for one match only. I don't know. I got this vibe that either they're getting ready to come back or another tag team that could possibly come back. It's a stretch. It's a big stretch. Maybe the Hardy Boys. Think about the timing of that Hardys versus Edge and Christian rivalry special that happened a couple of weeks back. I don't really think that was just done for the hell of it.
Well, if you've listened to me whatsoever through the RCWR show, or you've seen me tweet, or wherever you'd want to do that, I have been high on the Ascension. And when a number of months ago on my website and my blog, I talked about my dream WrestleMania. I talked about the Ascension debuting at WrestleMania and debuting by winning the tag team title. Boy, did that go completely different than what WWE had in mind. I've been just racking my brain trying to figure out what is going on, what's the purpose of this, and I gotta tell you, I just don't. I have nothing. I got nothing going on here. There has to be a plan, right, Lee? I mean, they're not just putting him out there and we're better than Road Warriors. We're better than Demolition. We're better than the Powers of Pain. We're better than the NWO. We're better. Well, what's the plan, Stan? Because I don't understand what's going on. That being said, I'm looking at the New Age Outlaws. Yeah, you're absolutely right. These guys still got it. Billy Gunn is as good as he has been. He's a machine. And they're good friends with, the powers that be, in Triple H. And so I think that they're going to, I don't know what's going there. I would book it much differently. I would have the Ascension definitely go over, have, New Age Outlaws, kind of do the honors, as we would call it, to help make Connor and team to be that much stronger. But I'm picking the New Age Outlaws here to win this, because I think there's got to be some storyline in which they're just not going to be as good as famous tag teams. And I just don't know why or what that's all about. if I'm going to give you guys some insider information, just so happens that in my backyard, not the day after Royal Rumble, but the Monday following the Royal Rumble in Denver, Colorado, is Monday Night Raw. And one of the companies I work for, NRW, we watch NRW Charge every single Thursday, WWE reaches out to them for extras when Raw comes to town. So specifically requested was a tag team under 5'10", under 200 pounds. All right. Specifically requested. Now, that means that it seems typically of what has been going on with the Ascension. So I've got to assume that that's what it's about. Wouldn't you think?
I would think so. That's big breaking news.
See?
Right there.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Since you're looking at it from New Age Outlaws will win, I mean, let's kind of really build upon that. So, I mean, it's safe to say that if it were to go down like that, the next night on Raw, we would see the Ascension come out and they basically would call out maybe the New Age Outlaws, and, you know, they're not there because they might have been just one and done and they're still there. They go on a little bit of a tirade and they're looking to challenge whoever, I would assume. And that's kind of how they at least stay away from seasoned tag teams, at least from that point going forward, just to capitalize on what you had mentioned a few seconds ago. But with that Royal Rumble match, are you picturing them winning? Are you picturing the New Age Outlaws winning and then maybe to gain some heat back or some type of a reaction from the crowd, maybe beat down the New Age Outlaws?
And that's probably more likely. I do not believe that, and I work very hard to avoid spoilers and so forth when it comes to the Royal Rumble. It's one of those things. As a journalist on my show and our show, I try to, update myself with all the juicy dirt. I try very hard to stay away from it for the Rumble because I like to be sort of surprised. Although some of my followers on Twitter have given me some of those dirt, and I've heard about, a famous tag team, a Hall of Fame tag team, if you will. They're not coming out in that matchup. It's just, that's not going to happen. They're going to come out during the Rumble if that is what is actually, reality. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to see these guys, who are rumored to be there to pop out. I can't imagine. I mean, the whole point of the Rumble is that who's the surprise that may come out. Now, we're talking about a tag team here, so I'm not sure how that works out. But I just don't see them coming out outside the Rumble. I could be wrong, but that's not what we normally see from the Royal Rumble with returns. Maybe on Raw, something starts, by all means, but I don't know. I'm not sure what the whole story is with the Ascension. And it would make one pause and say, well, in NXT, which is handled by one member of the creative team, and if they were to go to the main roster, which is handled by an entirely different boss, this doesn't bode well for guys and gals coming up from NXT once, the chairman of the board gets his hands on you, because you have a team like the Ascension who are dominating, who are something that you haven't seen in tag team wrestling in the WWE in some time. And right now, they almost look to be buried, in my opinion. Yeah. So I don't know if that if that bodes well for people coming out of NXT at this point, based on some of the rumors we have heard.
Right. Let's talk about our next match. We got Paige and Natalya versus the Bella Twins. Traditional tag team match, Titus.
Well, it's easy to say, who cares?
Yeah.
But, there's something that's interesting about Natty and Paige. Even though it's being done to push Total Divas, I see that's what that whole thing is. But it does interest me to see these two because I think Natty and Paige are on the main roster, at least, the top two divas in WWE. So there's something interesting about their dynamic together. Apparently, we're seeing Paige sort of be in a face once again. I prefer her a heel, but I don't know, there's something about Paige we're not getting all of it with. But then you flip to the other side of the card, the matchup, and you see the Bellas. And well, I'll be honest, there's a lot of people, listeners of our show, listeners through other shows. They're called the IWC. There's the small segment of the internet wrestling community who despise the Bellas and think they're everything that is wrong with the business. I will say that if you really want to be honest with yourself, Nikki has seriously improved in almost every aspect of professional wrestling. She's getting good heat as a heel. She's delivering above average promos. Not great, but above average. Mm-hmm. And her work rate has really improved quite a bit over the last number of years. She's actually put in a whole new finisher in that rack attack. Clever name. Now, Brie, I want her to go away and go make some Billy Goats with Daniel Bryan because I'm done with Brie. She can't do anything right. So I get where they're coming from there. So you're looking at the Divas champ in Nikki Bella, who I think is greatly improved. You're looking at the stalwart in Natalya and an up-and-comer in Paige. I think there's some great dynamics that's going to be here. I'm actually going to call this my pick'em of the night because it can go either way. It's really a coin toss at this point. I can make an argument on why either team could or should win in order to push storyline. So that's my pick'em of the night. It can go either way. That being said, I think Paige and Natalya are going to go over in this matchup.
I would hope they do go over because I would like to see some type of a good storyline play out where, for me, remember I said on Monday, hey, when the hell did Paige go face? And right. It's kind of like, why is she being all buddy chum with Natty all of a sudden? So I like to see some type of an outcome with regards to that. One, be explained, as I don't know if Paige has her own little motives. Is this her way of trying to jockey into a position where she can challenge for the Divas title again or what? But, I would hope that at some point, if they do this right, Creative has a good fatal four-way match on their hands. Wouldn't it be something if all this time it turns out Brie has been waiting for the right moment to get back at her sister for that crap that went down months back, which was one major storyline. I mean, yeah, Stephanie McMahon that was involved in that whole thing, and then it quietly just died down. They had the servant storyline. They said that she was going to be Nikki's servant for 30 days. Boy, that went by so fast. They didn't even really do any nice little segments with it or whatnot.
It's really simple, Lee. It sucked. They knew it sucked. They were buried into a 30-day clause, and knowing that the fans out there will be loud about, hey, it wasn't 30 days, because the Big Show had an ironclad contract, and apparently we were supposed to forget that.
Hey.
So the thing is, the storyline, as much as you go, boy, this is 10 years into making, no one cared. And severely outclassed was Brie. She was not as good in this whole thing as Nikki was, and I think that's why they just kind of moved past it. I really don't see them doing any. I don't think they're going to do anything further with it. It's over. It's done, and we have to deal with the fact that they're both heels, yet their significant others are the two biggest faces in the company. How do you explain that one?
Yeah. See, let's talk about our next match. We got the Usos, Jimmy and Jey Uso, taking on Mizdow for the Tag Team Championships. Well, This is another match where I'm kind of getting to a point now where when I'm seeing a particular set of tag teams go at it multiple times on regular programming, it's kind of like, how can I feel invested in this one?
Yeah, it's we've seen this over a couple of times. I actually expected this matchup for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I expected it to be the other way around. I thought Miz and Mizdow would be the tag team champions coming in here and possibly the Usos winning him there. I'm not quite sure why on the first Raw of the year that made that change, especially with the popularity of Mizdow.
Yeah.
I just... It's again, this is another one of those matchups where you really could take it either way. And let's remember that this is the entrance ramp to the road to WrestleMania. So where they take these storylines really makes a significant impact on what WrestleMania is going to look like. I look at this matchup potentially going two different ways. Way one is how I'm going to expect it. It's a WWE way of doing it. I expect the Usos to go over and there be some sort of strife amongst Miz and Mizdow, which sets up their feud going to WrestleMania. That's what I expect to have happen. Mm-hmm. How I would book it. Well, I would book it that Naomi does get involved in this match and actually screws over the Usos. I think there's a reason that she's not on Total Divas because they want to make this look a little bit more real. It's hard to believe, a husband and a wife are having those problems on Raw, but then every Sunday you see them lovey and huggy and kissy on Total Divas. You're like, what the hell? So I think she's intentionally pulled from that to keep kayfabe. I think she's going to help The Miz because The Miz did help her, quote unquote, get some producer stuff going on in Hollywood, yada, yada, yada. She screws over her husband because she's tired of him and his career being bigger than hers. He wants her to have kids. He wants her to stay home, yada, yada. Helps them. Boom. And The Miz and Mizdow are tag team champions. Now, that completely alters the possibility of those two guys having a matchup at Mania, but it does push a storyline, a Days of Our Life sort of storyline between the Usos and Naomi. So that's how I would do it. I think that would be much more intriguing at this point. But I think that the WWE will do their blueprint, how they're going to do things. Usos win, break up the heel tag team. Boom. One guy goes face, Mizdow. One guy stays heel, Miz. And it sets up their feud going down to Mania.
Yeah.
That's a blueprint. I mean, if you look at the history of the WWE, that's what you see. Whether it be a heel or a face tag team, either one guy turns heel and, or the other guy, doesn't stay heel. So, that's a blueprint that WWE does, and I think they're going to follow it to a T, this Sunday, on Royal Rumble. And we're going to see The Miz and Mizdow break up as it looks. But that's not how I would do it.
I'm going to jump out there. I'm going to say that this is probably going to be the match of the night for the simple fact of Damien Sandow. I think this is going to be his moment when it's all said and done. When you look back on the Royal Rumble, I can see exactly what you're talking about play out. And then when you go to that Rumble match itself, every man is for himself. I can see Sandow throw out The Miz, and that's just going to make The Miz pissed off. If he tries to retaliate while that Rumble is still going on, try to attack Sandow, that remains to be seen. But I just imagine a irate Miz coming out the next night on Raw, and I mean, wouldn't that be something, Titus? He just beats the holy crap out of Sandow. Talk about a good way to get Sandow, boom, instantly right there, connected with the fans. You officially got him as a face. You sell it. He's out for a couple of weeks. Then he comes back and he's just looking to get that big payback. They do this right. Sandow's going to be coming out of this just, so fresh.
Well, WWE.com has confirmed a number of people being in the Rumble, two of which are The Miz and Damien Mizdow.
Mm-hmm.
I see it going another way. See, these two are going to go boom, 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 boom. They're going to split off. They're going to be in the Rumble. I'm going to say that The Miz is going to throw Mizdow out of the Royal Rumble. That's going to get serious heat on him from the crowd. It's going to put a lot of, good feeling toward Mizdow, and they're going to, he got hosed, and I think that'd be something kind of dirty. Maybe, hey, it's us, we're fine, let's get these guys out. Mizdow turns, whoop, out goes Mizdow. Miz is like, kiss my ass, I'm the man, you're not. And that sets the, sympathy for Mizdow, and heat, serious heat on the Miz, because he screwed Mizdow out of his opportunity at the Royal Rumble. Because remember, if you're going to look at the Royal Rumble, the whole purpose of the Royal Rumble, and this goes back to what I said on Monday, on being a prize fighter, the reason you're in the Royal Rumble is it might be your only chance, your shot, to go and headline, to main event WrestleMania. It means that if I got my chance to be in the Royal Rumble, it's sure as hell the only chance I'm ever going to get a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. So if that's the prize, then anything goes, and Mizdow just got hosed out of that possible one chance that he had, thanks to his now former tag team partner.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm very curious to know what you guys think with regards to this particular match. I look forward to seeing you all's comments on this one. Main event match we go. We're saving the best match for last, of course. We got Brock Lesnar defending his WWE World Heavyweight Championship against John Cena, Seth Rollins. I'm sure a lot of people have been weighing in on this particular match.
Oh, this has got so many fan feelings involved in this thing, Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Cena haters. They're tired of him. Get him out of here. You got the nostalgic fans who love Lesnar, and you got those quote-unquote indie fans who want to see the future in Rollins now. So you've got such a fan dynamic in this. It's good. It's there's lots of drama to look at.
Well, first question I want to address off the break, because this is how we really need to look at this match. It's a World Heavyweight Championship match times 2, because I'm saying to myself, is Seth Rollins, if you're thinking about it from a creative standpoint, does he try to cash in the briefcase, or is it going to be a situation where he's going to be incapacitated?
Oh, let's go another step further. Let's say he wins the match without the Money in the Bank being cashed in.
Ooh, automatic forfeit.
That's never happened, right?
Yeah.
So he's the World Heavyweight Champion and Mr. Money in the Bank. So how does that? That's an interesting dynamic that I never thought of until just today, thinking about our time together. That's an interesting situation there. So that could play out. And you're right. That he's going to have that Money in the Bank sitting there. So could he cash it in? Will he be incapacitated? What does Paul Heyman do to get involved? Because I'm all about restoring the manager. So there's that aspect to it too. And we've seen a lot of Brock Lesnar as of late, and he's looked good the last few weeks. The way that I would have expected him to come in, and he didn't. He's the X factor in this whole thing. I think that Cena and Rollins have had some pretty decent matches. We've seen it probably more than I want to see it, but they've had some good matchups. So now you put Brock in there. He's not really known for his in-ring ability, being, a catch-can wrestler, but he's looked good in these spots he's done. He may be on his final days with WWE. There's lots of rumors out there about that. His first time he left, he crapped the bed pretty bad with Goldberg at WrestleMania, so he doesn't want to do that again, I would hope. So is he going to be bringing some real memorableness to this whole matchup? Or is he going to, is this the last matchup for him, or is he going to still be at WrestleMania?
Let me ask you, because I'm thinking back to Monday night, does Big Show play a factor in this match at all? I mean, remember, he took a F5 from Lesnar Monday night. Does he get involved in this match, trying to get a little payback and maybe kind of help the Authority out in the process, since the Authority is behind their boy Rollins?
Well, I think that's a definite possibility. Why wouldn't he and Kane and J&J Security, be involved by all means?
Because, I mean, if you're really going to go there, like, I'm just trying to picture it in my head. If you're going to take the belt off of Lesnar, then you need to have some serious odds stacked against this man. You need to be able to please those Brock Lesnar fans that have come over from the UFC, from the MMA promotions, and they're checking out the WWE product for the sole purpose of watching Lesnar. You've got to do things in a way, I would think, where if you're going to take the belt off of Lesnar, you've got to do something that makes really good sense storyline wise. And I think the greatest storyline is to say, hey, it took not one, it took not two, it took not three, it took 4 to 5 guys, well, 6 if you count Seth Rollins, to screw Brock Lesnar out of his championship.
I'm going to take a different way, as you and I usually do.
Yeah.
I believe that in the end, Vince and the crew there, they have their plan. They've had their plan, and as we've seen in the past, does anybody remember Batista? They're going to stick to their plan. Lee, I think I'm calling it right now. Brock Lesnar wins this matchup, and he walks out of the Royal Rumble the World Heavyweight Champion. I think Seth Rollins holds on to that Money in the Bank. I don't think he does. He's got 6 months or 5 months to still use it, allegedly, in storyline. I think Brock's going to Mania. That's been the talk for many, many months, since before SummerSlam. I think that they have it's on the chalkboard in the office. It's written down. It's in permanent ink. He's the main event of WrestleMania. I don't see there being any sort of doubt there. Again, WWE has a blueprint, and they have a way of doing things, and they stick to their guns more times than maybe they should. So I don't see anything nefarious coming out of this. I see Brock winning and winning on the Mania.
Let's flip the script. Let's say he doesn't win. Who's your champion walking out?
John Cena.
Now, what do you say to those Lesnar fans?
Lesnar fans, Brock's leaving. I mean, let's be real here. Vince isn't going to let his champion not be under contract. And Dana White's not going to let him work UFC and WWE. And I'm pretty sure Vince won't let him work WWE and UFC. He's not doing both. So if he's into going to UFC, if that's what he wants, because he's got over I was ahead of my head. Diverticulitis. He's over it. He's healthy. He's in great shape. He looks great. Then he wants to go back to UFC and pick up where he left off because he didn't finish that the way he wanted to. He's out of here. Sorry, Lesnar fans. He's left. He's not going to do both. So he can't be champ going forward. And I'm sorry, but Seth Rollins is not ready to have the keys of the kingdom put in his hands. He's not ready. He will be. By all means, Seth Rollins is going to be a top heel in this business for a while. He's not ready to have that put on him. You guys don't understand that. Listening, you don't get it. And I don't mean to be, rude. I don't mean to be insulting. You don't understand, even on a small regional promotion, the absolute stress it is to be somebody's champion, because you're the main event. You're the last match that anybody watches on a pay-per-view, on Monday Night Raw, on a house show, you're the last one. You have all the responsibility on you to kick ass and keep the biggest storyline going forward. You do all of the events. You do all of the press. You do all of the speaking. You're the face of the company. Seth, we know he's going to do it. He was the first NXT champion. He has the ability. He has the experience to do so. But NXT is not WWE. And until he's able to pass some of the markers, he's not going to get it yet. He's not going to get it yet.
Not to mention, he still has the Sanders curse.
And he still has the Sanders curse. And again, Lee Sanders, you damn well better never tell anybody I'm a great speaker, because I'm going to come find you. And I'm going to...
I know, trust me. I know. Very interesting matchup right here. You know, we got to address this. If Cena, if he were to walk out of this with the championship belt, are we both in agreement that there would be so many people with their own podcast shows and all that would seriously be on a bashing fest with WWE Creative?
I mean, John Cena, let's be real. There are some things that the WWE can't do right. Triple H did something that has been all over the news, all over the internet. It's been the top trend in Facebook all stinking day. He did something nice for a little kid who was crying at the show, and there are still those who say, and I quote, WWE set that up. It was just to make Triple H look good. I mean, really? It's that big of a conspiracy that we'll have a little kid planted to cry to make Triple H? No. So there are some people, no matter what happens, they're going to say whatever they're called trolls. I have them. You have them. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. So Cena the whole freaking building could be falling down on everybody. He would jump under, catch the whole building on his back and save everybody in the arena, and they go, Super Cena again. It doesn't matter what he does.
But can you understand the frustration from them? Because if you really...
No, because I like John Cena. I have no issue with it. Do I get a little tired of some of the Super Cena? Of course I do. But how is he any different than Hulk Hogan was in his heyday? How is he any different than Bruno Sammartino in his day? Let's remember how long Bruno was champ, okay? Bruno was champ for 8 years. Hogan was champ for 4 years. We have not had that kind of a run from John Cena. In reality, the longest run we've had is everyone's darling, Phil Brooks. So I don't see what's all the stress. It is an anti-Cena thing, no matter what. I don't get all the anger towards him. What does he do? He goes, he lives, bleeds, breathes, and dies for this business. He does press nonstop. He does, all these Make-A-Wish things. He does a lot of stuff for the military. Where's he go wrong? He doesn't hit his girlfriend in the hotel elevator. He doesn't rape people. He doesn't cut his wife's throat. He doesn't do anything bad. Is that the problem? He isn't bad for everybody. He's a goody two shoes. I don't get it, Lee. I don't get it. But that's okay, because the fans are listening now. They don't get why I like him. And that's okay. We can disagree all day long. As long as you're respectful, I'm respectful. We can go about and we just see differently on things. The biggest issue I think I would have is that it's twofold. Cena wins, he will become a 16-time heavyweight champion. And that puts him right up next to Ric Flair, pushes this, he's the greatest WWE superstar of all time, yada, yada, yada. It will be a transitional championship yet once again. And that's the biggest issue is I would have preferred to see not 15 championships on him. I would prefer 9, but have some real length to them. I mean, let's be real. He only had a 2-month run prior to Brock beating him. So That's my issue. Is they've kind of put him out there a little bit too often as a transitional champion. But the reason is if you go back 30 flipping years, it's a WWE sort of, storyline. They like having, that big, strong face chasing the title, having him. I mean, why do you watch Die Hard 2? Because you want to see, him save the day again, right? So that's kind of the same idea. Cena chases up, beats everybody, wins the title, loses it, and does it all over again in the sequel. Sometimes the sequel sucks. Sometimes it's good. You got to tell me that Cena and CM Punk didn't tear it up for a number of years. Even CM Punk will say that they tore it up. He didn't go, well, I carried John Cena the whole way. He's never said that.
No, he's never said that.
Never said it.
Does Sting play any factor into this match or the main event?
Well, I think that's the question. That's the X factor for the entire program is, where does Sting play a part? If he plays a part, it's going to be to screw the Authority. So does Seth Rollins have this all wrapped up and he involves himself there? Or does, if we're going to go there, let's talk to Royal Rumble, because if Sting's involved there, I wouldn't be surprised if Seth Rollins doesn't get it done, quote unquote, and Triple H says, you know what, damn it, there's only one way to protect this company. That's for me to win the Royal Rumble and for me to go back to WrestleMania, because only I can do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H threw himself into that, and maybe he's on the verge of doing something, screwing over Daniel Bryan, and Sting makes his thing, gets Triple H, distracted. Daniel Bryan throws him to the top rope. Everyone's yelling yes, and Sting again screws the Authority. That's a possible storyline. And you know what, Lee? I just made it up on the fly. Because I'm that damn good.
I hope they can get Sting out there to Philly, though. That's the main thing. They can get him to Philly. Because I'm just thinking to myself, man.
Vince has got a really nice corporate jet. He'll get him there.
Yeah, because the main thing I'm thinking to myself is, you need something big for that Monday Night Raw, the night after the Royal Rumble. You need something big and something that's going to have a lot of people. I got to watch Raw tonight, and I just think Triple H coming out, we got the same brainwave, because that's exactly what I was thinking. You got to have Triple H come out and say something, because you can't just go from what happened Monday and then pretty much, talk about that. I think something big with Sting should happen at the Rumble in order to set up their eventual matchup.
Brock wins the match, and, Triple H is angry because, Brock pretty much told the Authority where they can stick it on Monday night. And, I can beat Brock. I'm the only guy that can beat Brock Lesnar. So I got to go into the Royal Rumble. I got to win the Royal Rumble so I can go to the main event at WrestleMania and beat this guy and kick him out of our company forever. That's a Triple H sort of promo that he would pull. So that's a real possibility in my mind. Plus, let's remember, Triple H does have 2 contracts. He's got a creative contract running the company, and he still has a part-time wrestler's contract in which he has several dates in which he has to wrestle. This would be a reason to have him, book one of those dates.
Right. But would it make more sense for John Cena to win the belt in order for Triple H to say that, or?
That would be another option as well, by all means.
Okay.
I by all means.
Okay. Royal Rumble match. We know so far the entrants are Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Rusev, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Bad News Brown. I apologize, Bad News Barrett.
I've got some bad news.
We got Goldust, Stardust.
Lee Sanders thinks you're a good talker.
Nah, I have my moments. Big Show, Kane, Miz, Mizdow, R-Truth, Ziggler, Ryback. Those are only some of the confirmed names right now.
You have to assume Eric Rowan and Luke Harper fall into there somewhere. And then you've got, an unknown number of Philadelphia-based. So I think this is going to have a heavy ECW feel. It's in Philly. Paul Heyman.
Tommy Dreamer.
Dreamer's got some involvement with TNA. So I don't expect to see Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer's bi. He'll do anything.
I think he's under contract of some sort with TNA. Is he not? Isn't he working on the creative team? Isn't he some involvement there?
Oh, damn. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, so we could take out Tommy Dreamer, but we got Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam, I think, is a shoe-in.
Yeah.
I think that there's a Hall of Fame tag team that's going to make a return as well. And you know what really sucks? And I'm not going to name them, but I'm going to give it away anyways. On this particular Royal Rumble, it is possible, if all accounts are true, that there will be three of the 4 TNA Hall of Famers on the WWE program.
Ooh.
Think about that. 3 of the 4 Hall of Famers from TNA on the WWE pay-per-view. And we know one of them is not going to be Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Well, you guys do the math from that point.
Yeah, read in between the lines. Yeah, we're not trying to spoil it for you guys. Yeah, that's damn good. That Legends panel, as awesome as it was Monday night to see Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, the Hulkster, hearing them give their picks, see, it's a double-edged sword because you like to hear their picks, but at the same time, you got to put in the back of your head, okay, so basically WWE is telling us which names to look out for. Basically, the people that they want to see be the future in years to come. Home man on those names, they mentioned Bray Wyatt,
Dean Ambrose.
Nobody mentioned Roman Reigns, which kind of they didn't mention Roman Reigns. I can't remember who the third guy was they mentioned.
I can't think of it.
Oh man!
But we didn't get their picks. We had what creative wrote for them.
Yeah.
Right. That is for sure.
Roman Reigns.
Again, I think WWE has the road to WrestleMania is paved. I think it's been talked about for months, and I don't think they're gonna change what they have. There is an alteration to the plan because allegedly Daniel Bryan, I call him Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, he wasn't rumored to be back until right before or right after Mania, so he wasn't playing into it. I believe my pick for the Royal Rumble is Roman Reigns. I believe that is who is going to win the match because that's what we've heard for many, many months. Reigns and Lesnar, main event at WrestleMania. I think that's what we're going to look at. Now, do I think that should happen? No, I do not. I think Daniel Bryan should win because that is a hell of a David and Goliath sort of storyline. It's biblical as far as you can go back. That's why Lesnar goes over because he's the biggest, baddest guy in the yard. He destroyed John Cena at SummerSlam. He beat The Undertaker, destroying the streak. He is Goliath if there is a Goliath.
Right.
And Daniel Bryan is David. If you know your Bible at all, and I do, I'm well read, David is Daniel Bryan. And so that is a David and Goliath story. And that's for me, I think that's the wild card pick is that Bryan comes in. It wouldn't surprise me that the Authority tries to screw him and he's like number 1 or number 2 and he has to run the table because that's what they want to do. They want to hurt, want to make him look bad and don't want to risk him, coming back. So let's make him number 1, But I think Roman Reigns may be that predetermined. Again, I go back. Can you say Batista? Nobody wanted Batista to win. Nobody. And yet he won anyways. And the fans blew up. I don't think Vince changes how he thinks. He thinks, and he needs to. I'm not going to argue how he does things. You think you have the right plan, you follow the right plan. If you question yourself because, the internet seems upset about my idea, well, then you need to get out of it, Vince, because then you're worthless to anybody. So he believes his way is the right way, and I think he's going to stick to his guns, and I think Roman wins the whole thing.
Yeah. Besides, you still got Triple H kind of putting his thumb on Daniel Bryan. So, I mean, no doubt in my mind, and folks may not like this, but if you really think about it, Daniel Bryan, the position that he's going to be in as a result, I think it's going to be even better than trying to win the Royal Rumble. You still got Triple H putting his thumb on Daniel Bryan. I mean, their stuff is carrying over to SmackDown, apparently, from what I've been seeing. So kind of like a little bit of a reason to watch, because it's kind of like, okay, how's Triple H going to try to screw Daniel Bryan this week? But yeah, I think Roman Reigns is in there. I think he's penciled in there as a lock to win, despite everything that's going on. However,
but
Daniel
remember,
Bryan,
that doesn't mean that him winning the Royal Rumble automatically means he's in the main event at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. Because as last year will prove, it can still change and add a Daniel Bryan to the mix. Now it's going to be Randy Orton, Batista, and Daniel Bryan. So it doesn't necessarily make it the end all. WrestleMania sucks. It's Lesnar and Reigns. Not necessarily.
Yeah, plays out very well. Once again, so do we need to touch on the topic of Sting again, or we're good?
Well, I think, overall, Sting plays a part. I can't imagine this pay-per-view going by, especially following the way it went down on Monday. I can't see Sting not being there. Does that mean he's going to be booked? No. But for me, I have been 100% there doing it right with Sting. So if they're doing it right, and how I think I would do it in many ways, then I have to imagine he's there Sunday night in some capacity doing something. I don't want him talking. I don't want him, cutting a promo on Triple H. I just want him standing there and pointing his finger, pointing to the sign and saying, you and me, baby, let's go.
Right.
That works for me.
Right. All right. Well, I think we nipped this one in the bud. Let's go over the match picks. One more time. We'll start from the bottom, work our way to the top. So for the pre-show, we're both in agreement. Yeah, we got the New Day stable going over.
Yep.
For the New Age Outlaws taking on the Ascension, Titus sees the New Age Outlaws going over.
Oh, you didn't know?
I am picturing Ascension going over. Hook or by crook. Paige and Natalya versus the Bella Twins. I forgot who you got for that one.
I got Paige and Natalya, but like I said, that's my pick'em of the night. It can go either way. And I don't think it's going to be a yawner.
I'm going to go with the Bella Twins. I don't think I really went with anybody for that one. I'll go with the Bella Twins. Usos taking on Ms. Dow. We're both in agreement. Usos will retain.
Uso crazy.
Let's see. Lesnar. Somehow he comes out with the heavyweight championship belt. Honestly, if you really think about it, he needs to go over. You just think about what all went down with last year's WrestleMania. I mean, at this point, let's be for real. You've had him champion this freaking long. Why would you have him drop it now?
Yeah, if he loses the match here, he is not the undefeatable monster that they've projected him as. It does not make sense to me him losing.
No, it does. Not unless you have Paul Heyman screw Lesnar.
Unless you have something like that, but then the only way Brock Lesnar loses is the number of dates left in his contract. That's his opponent.
Yeah, for real.
If I'm booking him like in a WWE way of doing it, he beats the Undertaker, he destroys Cena, he's been, next to unbeatable and unbreakable. It's got to be a big something to finally beat him. And I'm a Royal Rumble guy. This triple threat at the Royal Rumble is not that match.
Nah, you're right. And for the
Of course I'm right. When my lips are moving.
And for the 2015 Royal Rumble match, we both got Roman Reigns picking up the W. I heard a very interesting theory for that 2015 Royal Rumble match. Somebody said, wouldn't it be something if it was tweaked in a way where the 2015 Royal Rumble winner gets to main event at WrestleMania, but there's like this silly, weird loophole where, you get to have a main event at WrestleMania, but who said it was for the World Heavyweight Championship? And the theory I had heard was it's possible that maybe Bray Wyatt wins, but rather than go after the championship, he wants a main event with The Undertaker. I said, damn, that sounds pretty freaking solid. But you got to think about the way WWE phrased it. Unfortunately, they said 30-man Royal Rumble match for a shot at the championship belt at this year's WrestleMania. I know some of you guys out there, you like those little loopholes, but it does make you wonder, Titus, as they've been building Bray Wyatt up this strong in the past couple of weeks. He's in the Royal Rumble, but he doesn't win it. How do you see him, if it is going to go down, how does his date with The Undertaker come about?
I think that's a simple booking. You have The Undertaker at some point in the next couple of weeks. I think the day after Rumble's too early. I'm pulling for the Denver Royal 2 shows after Rumble for very personal reasons. That would be that's the perfect time to bring him back, Vince. I know you're listening. Bring him back in Denver. I'll be a happy camper. At some point you bring him out. He makes his return and Bray interrupts. He cuts a promo on him about him not just being that kind of guy he used to be, and I'm the eater of worlds, and I'm going to eat you, and yada yada yada. That's the misconception of this guy doesn't look strong has nothing to be played out in a battle royal. Absolutely nothing played out in that situation. You can't send a guy into a 30-man Royal Rumble style battle royal and say, Bray didn't win, so he doesn't look strong coming out of it. Mm-hmm. That's not how Rumbles work. That's not how battle royals work. The only time where somebody needs to look strong is when you're 7 foot, 500 pounds, and you're named the Big Show or Andre the Giant or something of that nature, because you damn well better look strong in that sort of a matchup. It's designed for you. It's designed for Mark Henry. It's designed for Viscera. He was a great person in Battle Royals. That's how you look strong. If you're a Bray Wyatt, you don't win the Royal Rumble. Well, there's 29 other guys in there pushing and shoving, and so there's no concern about him looking strong or looking weak coming out of the Royal Rumble, because I don't see that being an issue.
Right. We need to remind you folks that's not going to be able to check out the Royal Rumble this weekend. We will be doing a special RCWR show live for you all. You'll be able to catch that this Sunday, January 25th at 10:45 p.m. Eastern, or immediately after the pay-per-view concludes. Hop on over to youtube.com/the RCWR show. We'll be talking Fallout, give overall review of the pay-per-view. Most importantly, we'll interact with you all, the wrestling fans, about what you liked or disliked about that pay-per-view event. In the meantime, we want to hear your match predictions. So what you can do is, if you're going to be checking this out on YouTube, comment below. If you're going to be checking this out On the downloads, hit us up on Twitter. Hit up Titus at Evil Genius Titus.
And I'm going to try something new. I'm trying something new here. I always live tweet during Monday Night Raw and pay-per-view, so tweet along with me. But you heard my predictions. So I want your predictions. Use the hashtag Titus Predictions and tell me what you think is going to happen. And we're trying this new thing. We're going to use these social medias. So hashtag Titus Predictions. Hit me with that. Tell me what you think. And, of course, I will be live tweeting throughout the evening on Sunday night.
Awesome. Of course, you can hit us up at the RCWR show. We'll have all the links available for y'all to check out in the episode description. Titus, final thoughts?
I think that, the final thought, this is my favorite show year in and year out. I love this event. The surprise of it all, the unknowns that come from the Royal Rumble when the people showing up. It's a wonderful event, and this really could be a sort of a life-altering event for WWE. I mean, you've got so many young stars making their way into the world now. Does NXT have any sort of a showing? That's something we didn't even talk about. So you've got the Seth Rollins, the Dean Ambroses, the Roman Reigns. You've got the Dolph Zigglers. The next 10 years is in place. This could be that year in which a lot of these guys show off who they are and are able to show that this is what you're going to see in the WWE for the next decade. So it could be that important of a Royal Rumble. We could be sitting here 4 years from now doing this show. Remember that 2015? That's when Dean Ambrose really came out. That's when Roman Reigns won, and look what he's done since. He's the next Rock. That's when Seth Rollins shocked us all and cashed in money. That's when he won the title and still had the Money in the Bank at the same time. That could be that kind of a Rumble, and you can get it for only $9.99.
I love it when the road to WrestleMania begins. Royal Rumble.
Excited.
Yeah, very excited. Very excited. All right, folks, you know all the links. Hit us up. Let us know your predictions for that Rumble.
This has been the RCWR Show. Thanks for listening. An Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive.